What's up, Internet? I'm Chimera, and I'm bad at Homecoming City of Heroes. We're back with Professor Lareaux, just doing some light reading here. And today we wrap up the Faultline story. We're looking for Penelope Yin, um, avoiding some villains, and getting Penelope to use her psychic powers to essentially cave the Psychochronometron in on itself. They're all here, and they've got Penelope, but they don't look happy to see each other. That would be Arbiter Sands, Nocturne, and what was the other guy? I don't even remember. Um, oh well, we'll probably figure it out as we go. Oh yeah, Captain Castillo. That's cheating. I can't jump. I got a debuff on me. And where's Arbiter Sands? I guess they already took him out together. In this part of the timeline, Penelope Yin is like a young teenager. Um, by the time we approach the end game, she will have grown up and she's in like her 20s or something like that. Um, the game wasn't actually, so old that a young teenager would have grown up to be in their 20s. That's just how they progressed the story. All right, we're going to call Agent G. It's over. The Psychochronometron is destroyed and can never be rebuilt. Sands, Nocturne, and Castillo are all back in custody. We won't be able to hide Penelope Yin's powers anymore, so we're arranging some tutoring from Aurora Borealis and others for her. Arachnos and the Sky Raiders still have their bases here, but I feel confident that the Longbow and the PPD will be able to contain them. You saved the world today, and maybe reality itself. That's something to think about. As for me, after all this reality bending stuff, I think I'm going to go to Yin's Market for shaved ice. He does them Hawaiian style, my favorite way. It's weird. All right, so uh, Oliver Hack is who we were talking to before. He's just got endless missions. Um, I think Warren Trudeau also has endless missions. Let's see what Mercedes has to say. I have an easier way to travel now that I have this portal to Ouroboros. And we're going to go right back in. And we'll go to Atlas Park. Do a little bit of training real quick. Professor Lareaux, I've heard all about you. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. But enough with the pleasantries. Let's get down to business, shall we? A troll rave in Skyway City just exploded into unimaginable violence, more so than usual. Even more intriguing is that the freak show seemed to be involved, if not directly responsible. I want you to head over to Skyway City and defeat the freak show. Normally, such street ruffians are beneath the notice and concern of the Midnight Squad, but I have my reasons for being interested in this particular incident. Once the situation is calm, you should question everyone. I want to know exactly what happened in there. So the Midnight Squad isn't technically a super group. It's more of like it's like a essentially it's a club, like the the kind of club you'd actually find in real life. Just a group of people um, that meet and gather with a central focus. In this case, it's scholarly things, but given that this is a comic book world, it also tends to attract like magical and like really book smart type people. So there are superheroes that that do superhero things in the name of the Midnight Squad. So it's an informal supergroup. If there are still innocent people, if there are still innocent people in here, you'd better make sure they get to safety. The Freak Show is an anarchist group. Aesthetically, they're like punk rock kind of styled, as you can see here. There's a bit of a raver aesthetic as well, and they're cyborgs basically. They augment themselves with essentially junk. One of the freak show told you that they're working with a woman from Talos Island named Amanda Gates. He said she has a magic cassette player that amps him up harder than Excelsior. Excelsior in this context is just a drug that one of the drugs in this universe that helps them, like, numbs them, gets them high, and they use it to get their augmentations and stuff like that. Kind of like Zydrate in Repo, the Genetic Opera. The Raves DJ had this to say: "This is insanity, man. These freaks just barged in and pushed me out of the DJ booth. Then this local punk show organizer named Amanda Gates came in and hooked up some shabby old cassette player to the sound system. The moment she pressed play, everyone just went completely insane. It was pandemonium. I must have blacked out for a bit. Because when I came to, the music had stopped, and so had the fighting. Most of the freaks stuck around, but Amanda and the cassette player were gone." So we've got this Amanda Gates person working with the freak show, and there's a mysterious cassette player that seems to have an effect on anybody who hears it. "It is as I suspected, Professor Lareaux. This must be the dirge of chaos. Allow me to explain. My family owns many antiques, relics, and artifacts, some of which are magical in origin. When I joined the Midnight Squad a few months ago, I had planned to move the most powerful artifacts to the Midnighter Club for safekeeping. However, before I could do so, they were stolen. The Dirge of Chaos is one of these artifacts. I count us lucky that it has wound up in the possession of such magically inept individuals as the Freak Show, but even in their hands it could cause unimaginable damage. I need your assistance in recovering the artifact from them. I think we work well together. Here's my number. Call on me whenever you fancy." "We need to find the Dirge of Chaos, Professor Lareaux. So far, our best lead is the woman seen with the Freak Show. According to the freaks at the rave, Amanda is from Talos Island. I think the only option is to force the Freak Show to tell you where Amanda Gates is hiding out. Head over to Talos Island and get the Freak Show to talk." "Look for the Freak Show around Argo Highway and New Thebes. Be careful, Professor Lareaux. The Freak Show may not be very bright, but my intuition tells me that Amanda Gates has something larger in store for us than crashing troll raves. The Dirge of Chaos is capable of destruction on a much larger scale, and it is only a matter of time before she realizes this." All right, these types of missions generally kind of suck. They're like an overworld mission where I have to find an enemy that an enemy type that just randomly spawns somewhere in the zone. There's clusters of areas where they certain enemy types tend to spawn. So I think I'm probably just going to fast forward through this part, much like when I'm running from point A to point B, because it could take a while before I get all of the enemies defeated. All right, it didn't take as long as I thought it would. Um, the last freak finally ponies up the info you've been looking for. Amanda Gates is holed up with a freak named Killdozer at his hideout here on Talos Island. He gives you the address and then promptly passes out. Because I beat the fuck out of him. Okay. Whoa. This place has been completely trashed. Looks like you're on the right track. I don't know if the interiors are procedurally generated or not. Like, I've gone through so many at this point, I cannot recall a time when I went through one that was exactly like a previous time that I had gone through it. Like, there are just too many interior missions to really keep track of them in that way. Um, what I do know is that like there are like blocks of architecture that are the same in like every potential layout, but I think the layouts themselves are random and procedurally generated. And I say that I believe that they're procedurally generated because I've seen some like wacky layouts, like stairs going up to a corner, the corner turning, and then stairs going down, and then turning again, and then just a complete dead end. Just stuff like that. On the whiteboard, you see a simple bullet point plan that goes something like this. 1. Raid the station. 2. Hook up the tape player to the broadcast antenna. 3. Rock Paragon City into rubble. So it looks like they've already discovered that the Dirge of Chaos can cause a massive amount of destruction. So yeah, like the section that I'm in right now is pretty much the same way as it appears every single time you enter um, this particular tile set, this ruined office building. And this room is always the same, but like the hallways that these are all attached to kind of change the way the layout um, navigates. Like this room is always the same, but like this stairwell may not always be here, but when this stairwell appears, it's always got the same stuff in it. That's why I think that this is all procedurally generated. In the trash can, you can find a crumpled up printout of a map of Talos Island. Several locations are circled with X's through all but one. So they're hitting specific locations. Once roused from hibernation mode, the laptop's browser is currently open to the WNRK radio station webpage. Killdozer told you that Amanda Gates has already left to destroy the city, and there is nothing you can do to stop her. Before you can coerce him to tell you where she went, his vocal amplifier shorts out, rendering him mute. You'd better look around for some clues. I mean, it's pretty obvious she's going to the radio station. This flyer is a punk show called This flyer is for a punk show called Tear Down the Walls. Amanda Gates' name appears on the flyer as the show coordinator. You put together the clues and realize that Amanda Gates and the Freak Show are heading to the WNRK Anarchy radio station here on Talos Island. Yeah, I already knew that, because the other clues that I already found. Like the one that specifically circled the WNRK radio station on a map of Talos Island was like a dead giveaway, and that was like the first clue that I found. But, you know, whatever, I guess. I gotta investigate. A radio station? In the name of Professor Lareaux, she must be planning to play the Dirge of Chaos over the airwaves. I feel that with you I have met a true friend and ally, Professor Lareaux. Together we will do great things. We haven't got much time, Professor Lareaux. Get down to WNRK radio on Talos Island and stop Amanda Gates before she takes over the station. If she plays the Dirge of Chaos over the airwaves, then the people of Paragon City will go into a rage just like everyone did at that troll rave. The city will tear itself apart. Professor Lareaux, the Dirge of Chaos is not to be underestimated. It is a demon of immense power whose destiny is to herald the end times. It may have had enough time to manifest itself on this plane of existence. If it has, you'll need to destroy the manifestation before you have any hope of stopping the cassette player. You may want to bring a few friends. You enter WNRK Anarchy Radio just as the pandemonium outside begins. Great job, Professor Lareaux. With the dirge of chaos safely back in Midnighter hands, we can all sleep a little easier. The only question that remains to be answered is how did Amanda Gates get her hands on the dirge of chaos in the first place? I suspect that she may hold the key to recovering the other artifacts that were stolen from my family. If the answers are forthcoming, I may call on you sooner than later. Thanks, Professor Lareaux. I don't know what the world would do without you. Alrighty. And in our next episode, we're going to uh, continue our missions with uh, with Mercedes Sheldon here to see what else she's got in store for us. Until then, goodbye.